we are, live again. We'll get started in about 5 minutes. I'm just going to do my usual housekeeping and post a link around a bunch of places. If you're tuning in later, when this is just a normal video, look in the description. There will be a timestamp you can jump to when the actual questions start. So just bear with me for a minute or two while I post all this stuff on the Facebook page. Looking, I guess it is bang on 7:30. I'm getting messages. Where's the thing? We're live. Oops. All capitals is no good. Here, live. Okay, there you go. Okay, let's post it to the Facebook page. I'm going to post it to the event page. Everyone's saying, what's happening? We started yet. Okay, we're starting now. 5th of May, that's today, that's the one. Hi everybody, if you're tuning in, we're going to start in a couple of minutes' time. Hope you can hear me okay. I've moved my microphone to this side. But I did actually remember to plug it in this time, so hopefully it's working. Evening, Cat M. Can you let me know if the microphone's working okay tonight? I'm just posting to a few places as usual. People are messaging me, when's it starting? When's it starting? It's starting now. What's happening? Have we started yet? I'll just reply to everybody with the link. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Okay, well, thanks, Kat. All right, everybody tuning in, that's what I'd like to see. We're going to be starting in a couple of minutes. I'm just spamming the link around to everybody so we get a few people on the link. Everybody who's messaged me in the last 24 hours gets a free link from me. Okay. Oh, that's another person. It's going to be popular tonight. Okay, I think that's everything for Facebook. Now I just need to post a couple of other little places. If you're just tuning in, we'll be starting in about a couple of minutes, so feel free to go and grab a drink. Hello, good to see some regulars tuning in. I haven't even opened my questions document yet, so let's hope that's not disastrously corrupted itself in the last 10 minutes. Okay, that's people asking questions, that's fine. Oh, all right. Now, was there anywhere else? Oh, yes. One thing I have to do is open up my document. Got too many monitors on this PC, it gets a bit confusing. Okay. So that should be the one. Yes, there's the questions. Right, I can confirm we do have questions, everybody. That's good. And the last thing I'll do is... Okay, so we're going to be starting very soon. Grab a drink. I'm just posting the link to a few places. If you're tuning into this later when it's no longer a live video, there's a link in the description that will say where to jump ahead to actually get the questions, so you miss this couple of minutes of waffle at the beginning. Forgive me if I'm a little distracted. I'm just posting the link to various places. Okay, 21 people, that's good. Good, cool. All right, so if this is your first time here, hello, I'm James. The basic idea of this is that normally on a Tuesday evening, I would be going to the pub and hosting a pub trivia night, as I've done for the last 10 to 15 years or so. Can't do that at the moment because of COVID, so I figured I'd just do it online and have a bit of fun. It's not interactive. You don't need to be the fastest typer in the chat window or anything like that. You're basically playing against yourself or against your friends if you organize it in advance, or against the quiz if you like. The way it's going to work, I'm going to do 20 questions for round one. They're not super easy, but that's the easiest round. Then I'm going to give you the answers, so you know if you got it right or not. Then we're going to do 20 questions of round 2, which is our more difficult, less easy round. And then I'll give you the answers to those. And then at the end, we have our 10 question, very difficult or quite difficult / silly round. So if you get any of those, you're doing pretty well. Right. I think that's all the housekeeping we needed to do. I've replied to everybody on Facebook. Okay, so let's get cracking. Let's get started. We're 24 people. How can I possibly compete with the Bean team? If you do want to post your score at the end of the round in the YouTube chat, that's also cool. And if you want to be informed of other events in future, go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, and like that page, and then you'll be informed. But generally, it's 7:30 Sydney time on a Tuesday night. Okay, so with no further ado, or only a little bit further ado, why is my mouse not going onto this screen? Okay, good. Right. I'm going to put the questions up here, big, so I can read them. And I'm going to take some of this. Okay, ready? Question 1, round 1, question 1. What is tattooed on Popeye's forearm? What is tattooed on Popeye's forearm? That's question 1 of round 1. All right, question 2 of round 1. In music, what is the term for one or more notes sounded simultaneously? Question 2. In music, what is the term for 2 or more notes sounded simultaneously? Question 3. Question 3. The pink fir apple, the russet Burbank, and the Yukon Gold are all edible varieties of what? Excuse me. The pink fir apple, the russet Burbank, and the Yukon Gold are all edible varieties of what? Oh, my microphone's blocking Cathead. You know one of those. That's good. You probably know the answer then. Oh, I'm just going to post in here now that I've suddenly been given permission to post in there. Okay. All right, question 4. That's right, Kat, I did. Question 3 was the pink fir apple, the russet Burbank, and the Yukon Gold are all edible varieties of what? Question 4. In which Australian movie do prized possessions get sent to the pool room? Question 4. In which Australian movie do prized possessions get sent to the pool room? I now remember why I had that microphone on that side, because when I turn my head to read the questions, I'm pointing away from the microphone. Anyway, at least I managed to remember to plug it in this week. Question 5. Where in the human body is the eustachian tube? Question 5. Hey, 27 people. It's a new record. Question 5 of our relatively easy round 1. Where in the human body is the eustachian tube? I'm professional because I remember to plug my microphone in. Yep. So you can type the answers in the chat if you want, but people who don't want to see that probably want to maximize the window so they don't see the answers. And also, it's not that kind of quiz. You're basically playing against yourself. Question 6. What is the name of Harry Potter's pet owl? Question 6. What is the name of Harry Potter's pet owl? Nice one, Revolution. I didn't know you could do that. Very good. You just retracted his potentially spoiler. We don't know if it was the correct answer. He did put an answer though. Shredder's got stage fright in the chat window. Could be worse. You could be sitting in your bedroom, drinking cider and reading out trivia questions. Question 7 of round 1. Which planet in the solar system has 2 moons named Phobos and Deimos? Question 7 was, which planet in the solar system has 2 moons named Phobos and Deimos? Question 8. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated in which month? Question 8. St. Patrick's Day is celebrated in which month? Which reminds me, Matt, did you send the link to Andrew? That's a very direct and somewhat cryptic message. Question 9. Which Australian cricketer... Oops, says Matt. It's like halfway through round 1, dude. Question 9. Which Australian cricketer played a record-breaking 168 test matches between 1984 and 2004? That record has since been beaten by someone else. But anyway, question 9. Which Australian cricketer played a record-breaking 168 test matches between 1984 and 2004? All right, question 10, halfway through round 1. Lysergic acid diethylamide is more commonly known as what? So question 10, lysergic acid diethylamide is more commonly known as what? Question 11. In the film Monty Python and the Holy Grail, King Arthur meets the knights who say what? Nice one, Shredder. Question 11. In the film Monty Python and the Holy Grail, King Arthur meets the knights who say what? They actually say 2 separate things in the movie. I'll be very impressed if you can get the second one right, but I am looking for the first one. All right, question 12. If someone is described as hirsute, Hirsute, what do they have a lot of? Question 12. If someone is described as hirsute, what do they have a lot of? All right, let me do a little bit of Facebook housekeeping now that we're halfway through the first round. Make sure nobody's flipping out in the background wondering where we are, because that sometimes happens. People lose the links of the page and stuff. Nope, all seems to be going okay. All right. I actually do have a mouse plugged into here. Let's use that. Okay, question 13 of our relatively easy round 1. What was the name of the medical doctor portrayed for 8 seasons by Hugh Laurie in the TV show of the same name? So question 13, what was the name of the medical doctor portrayed for 8 seasons by Hugh Laurie? Excuse me, cider. In the TV show of the same name. Should have stuck to red wine like I had last week. Less burpy. All right, question 14. What is the name of the tallest building in the world? Pretty simple, standard trivia question. What is the name of the tallest building in the world? Question 15, another fairly standard trivia question. You look so sad, Pierrot. Question 16, question 15, if we're going to be traditional, we'll go in order. The Scoville scale, or Scoville units, are used to measure what? There's another pretty standard trivia question. Question 15, the Scoville scale, or Scoville units, are used to measure what? All right, question 16. Which ex-Beatle narrated the Thomas the Tank Engine TV series? Question 16. Which ex-Beatle narrated the Thomas the Tank Engine TV series? If you're just tuning in, we're getting towards the end of round 1, but then I'll give the answers and then we'll have round 2. So if you missed round 1, you can always just remember the URL for this video. It'll become a normal video when it's no longer a live video, and you can watch it and pretend it's live. Question 17. What is the name for the medical procedure by which a tube is surgically inserted into the throat to assist breathing? So question 17, what is the name for the medical procedure by which a tube is surgically inserted into the throat to assist breathing? You know, the old, they do it in movies with a pen kind of thing. Ex-Beatle. Yeah, the Beatles broke up. I'm sorry to be the one to break this to you, but it happened a while ago, Davey. Question 17, we just did. Question 18, in The Simpsons, Marge's two older sisters are who and who? Question 18, in The Simpsons, Marge's two older sisters are who and who? All right, question 19, getting towards the end of round one. Etymology, that's E-T-Y-M-O-L-O-G-Y, etymology is the study of what? That's question 19. Etymology is the study of what? And question 20, the last question for round one, but we've still got round 2 and 3 to go. So question 20 is, how many former Australian Prime Ministers are still alive? Question 20, how many former Australian Prime Ministers are still alive? You can get 1 point for the correct number and half a point for each correct name. If you want to name all the former Australian Prime Ministers who are still alive. Okay, so that's the last question in round one. I'll give you a couple of minutes to finalize your answers. During that time, I will do a little bit of social media housekeeping. Cat M and Elvis. Okay, now I know who you are. Hello, Cat. Hello, Elvis. Right. That's all good. Everything's happening on the Facebook page. As I've mentioned before, if you do want to be told about quizzes in future, just go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, and like the page, and then you'll be informed of future events. But generally, it's Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Sydney time. I'll put a live link on the page for the YouTube video like I did tonight. Okay, that should be enough time. Should we get ready for the answers to round one? Somebody just sent me a message, which I will reply to. My sister just sent me a message. My sister says, how do you chat? On the YouTube page, there are comments, or on the Facebook page also. Okay. All right, so let's go through the answers to round one. If you missed round one, that's fine. You can just remember this URL and you can look at it later. It'll be a normal video and you can just play through it like it was live. But we've got round two coming up, so stick around. Okay, so the answers to round one. Question one was, what is tattooed on Popeye's forearm? The answer is an anchor. My email just popped up a big notification in front of my window. Okay. So question one was, what's tattooed on Popeye's forearm? It is an anchor. Yeah, he has a big anchor. You know, he's Popeye the Sailor Man. Question two was, in music, what is the term for two or more notes sounded simultaneously? That is a chord. Question three, the pink fir apple, the russet Burbank, and the Yukon Gold are all edible varieties of potato. Question four, which Australian movie do prized possessions get sent to the pool room? That is, of course, The Castle, straight to the pool room. Question number five was, where in the human body is the eustachian tube? I will accept the ear or the throat or the neck, because it's a tube that goes from your ear to the back of your throat. So anything in that general area is fine. Question six was, what is the name of Harry Potter's pet owl? That is Hedwig. Question seven, was which planet in the solar system has 2 moons named Phobos and Deimos? That is Mars. Question 9 was which Australian cricketer played a record-breaking 168 test matches between 1984 and 2004? That was Steve Waugh. Doom, says Kat. Okay. Question 10. Lysergic acid diethylamide. Oh, you said Mark Waugh. Well, it's a different guy, isn't it? Question 10 was lysergic acid diethylamide is more commonly known as LSD. Did I miss number 8? I did. I missed number 8. Well spotted. Number 8 was St. Patrick's Day is celebrated during which month? It's the 17th of March. It's March is the answer, not the 17th month. That would be very confusing. Okay, get us together. All right. Question 10, we had lysergic acid diethylamide is more commonly known as LSD or acid. Yes, we did question 8. There's a slight lag on the comments, but I have now done question 8. And we're now up to question 11. In the film Monty Python and the Holy Grail, King Arthur meets the knights who say, Ni. That's the answer. The answer is Ni, N-I, exclamation mark. There's a much longer second answer. If you got that, well done. Question 12 was, if someone is described as hirsute, what do they have a lot of? They have a lot of hair, from the Latin hirsutus, meaning shaggy or hairy. Question 13 was, what was the name of the medical doctor portrayed for 8 seasons by Hugh Laurie in the TV show of the same name? I have a man crush on Hugh Laurie, have had for a long time. He was Dr. Gregory House in the TV show House or House MD. If you just add the word house, that's fine. No, you don't get half a point for Steve or Mark Waugh. It's Steve Waugh. It's a different guy. I don't care. You can mark it yourself. It's fine. Question 14. What was the name of the medical doctor? We already did that one. Question 14. What's the name of the tallest building in the world? That is the Burj Khalifa, which used to be known as the Burj Dubai. So you can have that as well. But it's not the Burj Al Arab. It's a tall hotel, but it's only about a third of the height of the Burj Khalifa. So the correct answer for question 14 is Burj Khalifa or Burj Dubai. All right, question 15. I'll get it together, I promise. The Scoville scale is used to measure the hotness of chilies. So, for example, a habanero is 350,000 units. A Tabasco pepper is only about 50,000. The hottest chilies in the world are between 1 and 3 million. And police issue pepper spray can be up to 5.5 million Scoville units. Don't get it in your eyes. All right, question 16 was, which ex-Beatle narrated the Thomas the Tank Engine TV series? That was Ringo Starr. A good little bean says, my wife says that the French for potato is pomme de terre, which means apple of the earth. Well, if I was conducting this in French, you could have a point. That is an interesting factor. Aren't tomatoes love apples as well? Anyway, basically everything that's spherical gets called an apple. Question 17 was, what is the name for the medical procedure by which a tube is surgically inserted into the throat to assist breathing? That is a tracheotomy or a tracheostomy. Matt says, why don't we call apples sky potatoes? That's a very good question. Or call potatoes earth apples. Well, they do. Pomme de terre. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. All right. So is tracheotomy or tracheostomy for question 17? Intubation is not the same. That's where you slide a tube into the throat. If it's surgically, it's tracheotomy. All right, question 18. I'm getting too distracted by the comments. Question 18 was, in The Simpsons, Marge's 2 older sisters are who and who? It is Patty and Selma, S-E-L-M-A, Patty and Selma. Do half points if you want on that one. Per name, obviously. Question 19, etymology is the study of word meanings and origins. Question 19, etymology, the answer, is word meanings and origins. It's not the study of bugs, that's entomology. That's right, E-T. Etymology. Okay, and finally, question 20 was, how many former Australian Prime Ministers are still alive? You get 1 point for the correct answer and half a point for each correct name. The correct answer is 6. And they are Keating, Howard, Rudd, Gillard, Abbott, and Turnbull. It's not 7. You can't have Morrison because he's not a former PM. He's the current PM. And probably Harold Holt is still alive as well. Probably somewhere in China or wherever he defected to. But I think he's legally dead. Okay, right. So how'd you go for that one? It was a little bit messy in the giving the answers round. But what scores did you get? Was 18 1 point or 2, says Kat. Question 18 was, it's 1 point in total, I think, half a point each. Pierrot says, I almost got as many points in the last question as all the other questions overall. 16, 16, 14, that's pretty good. Not too bad for the first round. All right. Just before we get started, Simone got 2020, but she did big on the Prime Minister one. Yeah, if you know your Prime Ministers, you did pretty well in that round. All right. Why can't I open my Facebook thing? I'll put that in a different window, and that way it won't be in the way. That's a good idea. Okay, let's get started with round 2 very soon. All righty. So round 2, this is our slightly more difficult round. So, yeah, we're going to do round 2 of 20 questions, and then we'll give you the answers at the end, and then we'll do our 10-question, quite difficult third round. Okay. Right, question 1 of round 2. 19 from Pierre. Pretty good. 18.5 from Davey. 10 from Shazza and CK Brewer. Not too bad. Okay, question 1 of round 2 is the original Parker Brothers version of the board game Monopoly, so basically the first one that was sold, was based on the layout of which city? So question 1, the original Parker Brothers version of the board game Monopoly was based on the layout of which city? And I did warn you last week I was going to ask that question. So if you didn't do your homework, that's your lookout. The kids ran in with the owl answer, but they Googled it, so we didn't count it. I think all kids know the answer to that. All kids know all Harry Potter trivia. Question 2. Which chemical element is represented by the single letter P for Peter? Question 2. Which chemical element is represented by the single letter P for Peter? Suddenly a whole bunch of Facebook notifications. What is going on? 19.5 from Peter. Very good. Lots of people clicking and liking. That's what we like to see. So if you do want to, remember, if you do want to be told about quizzes in future, go to Facebook, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, like the page, you'll get told. Okay, question 3 of round 2. In Doctor Who, which actor played the 9th Doctor? And to make it easier, that's the first Doctor Who in the revived series from 2005. So let me ask that in a less confusing way. Number 3, in Doctor Who, which actor played the 9th Doctor, who was the first Doctor Who after the series was revived in 2005? So I want the name of the actor. And for a bonus point, what was the name of his companion? You can give the actress or the character name for that. Question 4 of our more difficult second round. What was significant about the death of Mary Ann Nichols in 1888? Question 4. What was significant about the death of Mary Ann Nichols in 1888? I should mention that there are 4 or 5 earlier rounds of trivia available on the YouTube channel. They're just normal videos now, but you can play them if you haven't played them before. You can pretend they're live. Question 5. Angel Falls, the highest waterfall in the world, is in which country? Question 5. Angel Falls, the highest waterfall in the world, is in which country? Good Little Bean says, my kids are the same with Harry Potter. My daughter, I kid you not, because we're all, well, I'm going to work, but the time that I am home, they're always home because of COVID. She has her phone on playing the Harry Potter audiobooks constantly. Like everything she does is narrated by Stephen Fry, basically. It's a little disturbing. What are we up to? Question 6. What is the name of Tintin's dog? Question 6. What is the name of Tintin's dog? And whoever was speaking French before, you can give me the original French name if you like, but I will take the more common English name. Question 7 of round 2. Which of these animals does not typically live to be over 100 years old? So this is a multiple choice. Question 7. Which of these animals does not typically live to about does not typically live to be over 100 years old? Okay. I think it was Belgium, but don't they speak French in Belgium? I may be making a huge, terrible faux pas there, but I think it's a Belgian comic, but it's written in French. Maybe we should have that. What are the national languages of Belgium next week? Anyway, okay, so here's the question. Question 7, which of these animals does not typically live to be over 100 years old? The options are A, the giant clam, B, the African elephant, C, the immortal jellyfish, or D, the Galapagos tortoise. So question 17, which of these does not typically live to be over 100 years old? A, the giant clam, B, the African elephant, C, the immortal jellyfish, or D, the Galapagos tortoise. Right, now there's a debate in the comments about whether they speak Dutch, Belgian, or French in Belgium. I don't know. Let's find that out for next week. I've got the feeling I'm pretty sure Tintin was written in French by a Belgian person. I don't know why that is. All right, what are we up to now? Question 8. Question 8, a common version of which game requires you to double in and double out? So question 8, a common version of which game requires you to double in and double out? Okay, Davey, you're just naming languages now. Question 9, in our increasingly disorganized second round, the musical Cats is based on a book by which poet? Question 9, the musical Cats is based on a book by which poet? Oh, there was something I was supposed to do earlier. Can I get to it still? Hello, Pierre. And hello to your wife, Erin. Hello, Erin. Hope you're doing well. Hope the whole COVID thing's not getting you down too much. Okay, question 10. A popular advance fee fraud on the internet has been nicknamed a what scam after the country in Africa where so many such scams originate? Slightly wordy question, bear with me. Question 10, a popular advance fee fraud on the internet has been nicknamed a what scam after the country in Africa where so many such scams originate? It's a little unfair to the people of that country, but for whatever reason, there are a lot of that particular type of scam coming out of there. Question 11. What sort of lake, no worries, Pierre, what sort of lake is formed when a wide meander of a river is cut off from the body of the river? Question 11. What sort of lake is formed when a wide meander of a river is cut off from the body of the river? I don't know if more cider is what I need right now, given how disorganized this quiz has been tonight. Right. Question 12. Which is both the most western and the most southern county of England? Elated Matt, I will take the English or the Australian/Aboriginal name for the previous river-based question. But this question is, question 12, which is both the most western and the most southern county of England? Question 13. On Hey Hey It's Saturday, what was the name of the obnoxious puppet, basically a school cap on a stick, which would pop up in front of Daryl and make rude remarks? Question 13. On Hey Hey It's Saturday, which was a TV show for you kids, what was the name of the obnoxious puppet, basically a school cap on a stick, which would pop up in front of Daryl and make rude remarks? Question 14. To the nearest 100 meters, how long is the Melbourne Cup horse race? Question 14. To the nearest 100 meters, how long is the Melbourne Cup horse race? Right. I never thought we'd have an argument about the national language of Belgium in the comments. So there we go. Okay. Question 15. Bucharest, B-U-C-H-A-R-E-S-T. Bucharest is the capital city of which European country? Question 15. Bucharest is the capital city of which European country? Question 16. By which more common name is the practice of numismatics known? Question 16. By which more common name is the practice of numismatics known? Excuse me. Numismatics is spelled N-U-M-I-S-M-A-T-I-C-S. Numismatics. What's the more common name for that? Right. Question 17. Don McLean's song, or Don McLean. Never did know how to pronounce that. Anyway, Don McLean's song, which begins Starry, Starry Night, is about which artist? Question 17. Don McLean's song, which begins Starry, Starry Night, is about which artist? All right, we're getting towards the end of our less easy, slightly more difficult second round. Peter has sent me a message saying Belgium ... French. Okay, that's good. I must really Google that. Maybe at the end of this round, I'll Google it and we'll find out. Okay, question 18. Willis Tower, more commonly known by its original name, Sears Tower, was the tallest building in the world for nearly 25 years after its completion in 1973. Which city is it in? Question 18. Willis Tower, more commonly known by its original name, Sears Tower, was the tallest building in the world for nearly 25 years after its completion in 1973. Which city is it in? Shredder says it's complicated, presumably for the national languages of Belgium question. Okay. I'm getting towards the end, so it's maybe slightly more difficult now. Question 19. For 1 point each, this is one of my pet trivia questions. For 1 point each, name the 3 crew members of Apollo 11. Question 19. For 1 point each, name the 3 crew members of Apollo 11. And question 20. For half a point each, name the 7 countries that make up the G7 economic organization. You know, every year or 4 years or whatever it is, they all meet. The G7. So 20, for half a point each, name the 7 countries that make up the G7 economic organization. Cat M is furiously laughing about something in the comments. All right, while you're finalizing your answers to those, I'm just checking to make sure I haven't missed anything on the Facebook notification stuff. I'll give you the answers in a couple of minutes. If you're just tuning in, towards the end of the second round, I'm going to give the answers soon. I'll give the questions as I go along. So if you missed out, you can play rapid fire mode. Then we're going to have a quite difficult, very difficult round 3. If you get any questions right, you're doing very well. But if you are just tuning in and want to play along normally, just remember this URL, because this video will become a normal YouTube video, and you can just, once it's no longer live, you can just play it like a normal video and pretend that it's live. And if you do want to be reminded of or informed about quiz events in future, go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz. like the page, and then you'll be informed of upcoming events. Okay, so I've got various family members are playing along, I'm being told in chat. Cool. Hello to my sister and my nephew / godson. Okay, so we do the answers to round 2. I think it's about that time. See if we can make it through without getting completely derailed like we did last time. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to Google Belgium. Don't know why I pronounced it like that. Okay. Official languages of Belgium: Dutch, French, German. Notably absent from that list is the word Belgian. Dutch, French, German. Okay, good. So that makes sense why Tintin was written by a Belgian dude in French. Good. All right, so here we go. The answers to round 2. The first question was, that's right, you did tell us, Davey. You did say the word German. Okay, the original Parker Brothers version of the board game Monopoly was based on the layout of which city? The answer is Atlantic City, New Jersey. That would normally be a round 3 question, but I did warn you I was going to ask that last week. Question 2, which chemical element is represented by the single letter P for Peter? That is phosphorus. No, it's not London. See, you think it's going to be London, but it isn't. It's Atlantic City. Look it up. Okay, question 3. In Doctor Who, which doctor played... Whatever, stupid facts. Stupid forcing me to learn things. Question 3. In Doctor Who, which actor played the 9th Doctor? That was Christopher Eccleston. And the bonus point was for the name of his companion, which is Rose, portrayed by Billie Piper. Thanks to Michael for that question. If you do want to submit questions, feel free to send them via the Facebook page. My questions are naturally tend to be a bit Sydney, New South Wales, Australia specific, but if there's an interesting fact about where you live or you have a question you want to submit, send it over and I'll include it. Okay, question 4. Yes, you can have the point if you get Billie Piper or Rose, but you can't have 2 points. Okay, question 4. What was significant about the death of Mary Ann Nichols? You don't get quarter points. People, get it together. I don't know what Rose's surname was. Did she have a surname? Anyway, question 4 was, what was significant about the death of Mary Ann Nichols in 1888? She was the first known victim of Jack the Ripper. That's what was significant about her death. Question 5, Angel Falls, the highest waterfall in the world, is in which country? The answer is Venezuela. It falls 979 meters. Almost none of the water reaches the ground directly, but instead turns into mist on the way down. Rose Tyler. Okay, there you go. I sort of did know that somewhere in my brain. Question 6. Question 6. What is the name of Tintin's dog? It is Snowy, or in the original French, it is Milou, M-I-L-O-U, but generally Snowy. Question 7, which of these animals does not typically live to be over 100 years old? The answer is, sadly, African elephants. They typically only live to be about 60 or 70 years old. Question 8, if you put the immortal jellyfish, you fell into my trap. Question 8, a common version of which game requires you to double in and double out? That is darts. So you have to hit a double before your points start being counted, and you have to finish the game and win, you have to hit another double. So question 8, the answer is darts. Question 9, the musical Cats is based on a book by which poet? That is T.S. Eliot. Question 10, a popular advance fee fraud on the internet has been nicknamed a what scam? That is a Nigerian scam, or a Nigeria scam. Apologies to any Nigerians. I'm sure you're all lovely people. Question 11, what sort of lake is formed when a wide meander of a river is cut off from the body of the river? That is an oxbow lake, or in Australia, we call them a billabong. 419 scam. I have heard that term. Is 419 the country code for Nigeria? Would that be why that is? Answers on a postcard. Question 12. which is both the most western and most southern county of England? The answer is Cornwall. Question 13 was on Hey Hey It's Saturday. Well, why don't you, people are wondering about 419, why don't you Google it, or I'll look at the end of this round. Question 13 was on Hey Hey It's Saturday, what was the name of the obnoxious puppet, a school cap on a stick that would pop up and make rude remarks? That was Dickie Knee. Question 14 was, to the nearest 100 meters, how long is the Melbourne Cup race? It is 3,200 meters. Okay, we have the news from Pierrot that 419 is the country code for Nigeria, and that's why they're called 419 scams. So yes, you can have 419 as well. You can have a point for that. Question 15. So 14 was 3,200 meters. Dickie Knee was classic. He was great. In fact, all of Hey Hey It's Saturday was great. Question 18. No, we're not anywhere near question 18. We're at question 15. Bucharest is the capital city of Romania. Question 16. The more common name for numismatics is coin collecting. You guessed 1 mile. The answer was to the nearest 100 meters. Why did you put a mile? A mile is 5,280 feet, by the way. Don't know why I know that. Question 16 was the more common practice. The more common name for the practice of numismatics is coin collecting. It's also paper money collecting or currency collecting. Okay. People tuning in, it's not normally this shambolic. I'm paying too much attention to the comments. Question 17. Don McLean's song, which begins Starry, Starry Night, is about which artist? It's about Vincent van Gogh. Now people are arguing about how many meters are in a mile. Good. Question 18 was Willis Tower, more commonly known by its original name Sears Tower, was the tallest building in the world, etc. It named the 3 crew members of Apollo 11 moon. Buzz Aldrin was the second to step on the moon, but who stayed in orbit and didn't actually step on the moon until a later mission? That was, of course, Michael Collins. He did get to visit the moon later. Did get to walk on the moon later, I'm pretty sure. Question 20 was for half a point each, name the 7 countries that make up the G7 economic organization. That is, for half a point each, you could have had Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the USA. I'm pretty sure it used to be called the G8, but Russia got kicked out. So the G7 is Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the USA. Okay, how'd you go in that round? That's the end of round 2. Let me look up 419 scam. Not that I don't believe you, but I'm just interested to learn why they're called 419 scams. 419 scam is same as a Nigerian scam. There you go. Okay, people want the answers again. Ooh. Okay, the Sears Tower one, maybe it was my connection that fritzed up. That was Chicago. So question 18, the answer is Chicago. Maybe it was my connection. Good old NBN here. Piece of wet string. You guess Chicago. Well, you never know the things you know, buried in your brain somewhere. Okay, pretty good scores. Oop, what's happening on the Facebook page? Why am I not using my mouse? Yes, some people also asking Facebook what the Sears Tower city was, so maybe my connection glitched. It was Chicago. Chicago, traditionally spelled with an I, not a U. Okay, so now we're going to have 17.5 out of 20. That's pretty good. 10 out of 20, not too bad. 15 from Matt. 9. I only got 5 questions right. Yeah, question 18, the answer, Sears Tower, Willis Tower, is in Chicago. We did have a bit of a connection glitch from the sounds of things. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right, we'll go through to round 3. This is our very difficult round. So if you haven't played this quiz before, round 3, if you get any of these right, you're doing okay. This is sort of my chance to put in silly things or questions that are just too hard. Yes, it was 1 point each for the Apollo 11 astronauts. Okay, so here we go, round 3. They're not all cripplingly difficult, but anyway, let's find out. Question 3, round 1, 16.5 from Good Little Bean. That's pretty good. Pierre, 16 too. Okay, so question 1, round 3. In the film The Matrix, which is a brilliant film, which has no sequels, no matter what you might have heard. Question 1, in the film The Matrix, what is the name of the hover ship captained by Morpheus? Question 1, in the film The Matrix, what is the name of the hover ship captained by Morpheus? Matt got 17. Davey got 13. Good Little Bean, 16.5. Pretty good. Okay, question 2. Oh, thanks to Michael for that question as well. Again, feel free to send in questions via the Facebook page or Messenger or whatever. It wasn't Boaty McBoatface. Question 2. What did Alessandro Volta invent in 1800? Question 2. What did Alessandro Volta invent in 1800? I take no responsibility for any imagined sequels to The Matrix that you think you've heard about but don't really exist. Just like Metallica only ever made 4 albums. I don't know what everyone's talking about with all the other ones. Good. Question 2 was, what did Alessandro Volta invent in 1800? Question 3 is, what is the name, I should say, of the only female member of the Bali Nine? Question 3, what is the name of the only female member of the Bali Nine? She was actually in the news recently. What about The Matrix 4 being filmed? I think you've imagined it. Question 4, in our typically very difficult round 3. Every year since 1947, a Christmas tree has been donated to the people of Britain and placed in Trafalgar Square. Which country traditionally gives this tree? So every year since 1947, a particular country gives a giant Christmas tree to the people of Britain. It's placed in Trafalgar Square. Which country traditionally gives this tree? Now, cat, be nice. All right, question 5. A particular street in San Francisco, which is a major tourist attraction, the street, not just the city, claims to be the crookedest street in the world. What is the name of that street? Question 5. A particular street in San Francisco, which is a major tourist attraction, claims to be the crookedest street in the world. What is the name of that street? It's basically a huge, long series of hairpin bends with a very difficult to find geocache at the bottom of it. Question 6. Weyland Yutani, Weyland Yutani, Weyland Yutani. Did we have that the other week? Don't know. Weyland Yutani is the evil corporation in which series of films? Question 6. Weyland Yutani is the evil corporation in which series of films? Didn't we have that the other week, says Matt. Don't know. I'm not sure which question you're asking about. Question 7. It's entirely possible, though. I have major deja vu with all the millions of trivia questions bouncing around my head. Question 7. In the Christmas song, Frosty the Snowman, which object brings Frosty to life? Question 7. In the Christmas song, Frosty the Snowman, which object brings Frosty to life? A bit more Facebookery going on. What's happening there? People commenting. 17.5 from Peter in the last round. 17.5 in the second round. That's pretty good. Okay. What are we up to now? Question 8. Question 8. Jamberoo Action Park in New South Wales, which is sort of a water park and a grass skiing kind of thing. Question 8. Jamberoo Action Park in New South Wales was awarded a Guinness World Record in 2015 for what? Question 8 of our quite difficult round 3, or very difficult round 3 generally, is Jamberoo Action Park in New South Wales was awarded a Guinness World Record in 2015 for what? Back Oz says, two snowmen are talking to one another. One says, hey, do you smell carrots? Yes, very good. Two cannibals are eating a clown, and one says, does this taste funny to you? Anyway, question 9. Who is the only Formula One driver to not qualify, not finish, and be disqualified all in a single race? This question's from my dad. Question 9. Who is the only Formula One driver to not qualify, not finish, and be disqualified from a single race? Thanks, Dad. And question 10, the last question in our very difficult round 3. The Curse of Tippecanoe, Tippecanoe, is an alleged pattern of deaths in office of US presidents. So the Curse of Tippecanoe is an alleged pattern of deaths in office of US presidents. What circumstance of their elections makes a given president a candidate for the curse? Okay, I can hear you all groaning and not understanding that one. So there's quite a lot of US presidents have died while they're in office, and conspiracy theorists like to put together patterns. So there's a certain pattern to these, which means that any future president, depending on something about their election, might be a candidate for this Curse of Tippecanoe. So what I want to know is what circumstance of their election makes a given president a candidate for the curse. Okay, so question 10 was, the Curse of Tippecanoe is an alleged pattern of deaths in office of US presidents. What circumstance of their elections makes a given president a candidate for that curse? Okay, you can see that why that's not a normal question. That's just a round 3 question, because it's basically impossible and very difficult to explain. All right, so think about those in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to do a little bit more Facebook housekeeping, and then we'll give you the answers. And then I think we'll probably do another Who Am I at the end, just for a bit of fun. Also useful for a tiebreaker if you find yourself in a tiebreaker situation. Okay. There's a bit of chit chat going on the Facebook page. Good. My phone is beeping. Okay. That was 10 questions, unless I forgot one. First one was, in the film The Matrix, name the ship. Second one was Alessandro Volta. Third one was female member of the Bali Nine. Fourth one was Christmas tree, Trafalgar Square. Fifth one was Bendy Street in San Francisco. Sixth was Weyland-Yutani, Evil Corporation. 7 was Christmas song, Frosty the Snowman. 8 was Jamboree Action Park. 9 was Formula One driver. And 10 was the Curse of Tippecanoe. That was a very quick run through of them all. Hopefully you know which one you missed out on. Okay, so here we go. Here's the answers to round 3. So don't feel bad if you don't get any of these. If you do get some, feel good. Question 1 was, in the film The Matrix, thanks, says Kat. You must have picked up the right one. Good. In the film The Matrix, the name of the hover ship captained by Morpheus is the Nebuchadnezzar, which is named after a biblical king who has a dream he can't remember, but he keeps searching to recall the name of what happens in the dream. And of course, Morpheus, the captain of that ship, is the god of dreams in Greek mythology. It's all connected, man. Thanks to Michael for that question. Yes. Question 2, what did Alessandro Volta invent in 1800? Well, we named the SI unit the Volt after him because he invented the electric battery. Question 3. Yes, a Nebuchadnezzar is also a massive wine bottle, and like a Methuselah and all those. They're all named after kings in the Bible, typically. Question 3. What was the name of the only female member of the Bali Nine? That is Renee Lawrence. Still locked up in Indonesia, but still trying to get let out. Elvis is wrong, says Kat. Okay. Question 4. Every year since 1947, a Christmas tree has been placed in Trafalgar Square. It is given by Norway. It's a token of gratitude for British support during the Second World War. And I guess they've got massive pine trees there. So, okay, question 5 was a particular street in San Francisco claims to be the crookedest street in the world. The name of that street is Lombard Street, Lombard Street. You can look it up in Google Maps, Lombard Street, San Francisco, and you'll see it's all little wiggly hairpin bends. All right, question 6. Weyland-Yutani is the evil corporation in which series of films? It is the Alien series. So that's the evil corporation that keeps sending people off to be attacked by the aliens because they're trying to take the aliens and turn them into weapons. Yes, and all the crew are expendable, etc. Weyland-Yutani. All right, question 7. In the Christmas song Frosty the Snowman, which object brings Frosty to life? It is, well, according to the lyrics of the song, it must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found, for when they placed it on his head, he began to dance around. So I would have taken a hat, old silk hat for that one. Question 8, Jamboree Action Park in New South Wales has a Guinness World Record since 2015 for the world's largest spider sculpture. They have a water ride called the Redback, and it has a giant spider on it. Okay, question 9. I'll be very impressed if you got this. Who is the only Formula One driver to not qualify, not finish, and be disqualified from a single race? It was Hans Heyer, Heyer, in the 1977 German Grand Prix. He didn't qualify, but he started from the pit lane anyway, and he retired with a mechanical failure, so he didn't finish the race, and then he was disqualified for a technical infringement. So had a pretty bad day. Thanks, Dad. That's a good question. And question 10, again, I'll be impressed if you got this. The Curse of Tippecanoe is an alleged pattern of deaths in office of US presidents. What circumstances of their elections makes a given president a candidate for the curse? It is if they are elected in years divisible by 20. I'm going to open up the wiki page for the Curse of Tippecanoe, and we'll have a look and see what effect the curse has had on people. If I can look that way and read this. So US presidents who were elected in years divisible by 20. In 1840, it was William Harrison. He died of typhoid in his first term. 1860 was Abraham Lincoln. He was assassinated in his second term. 1880 was James Garfield, assassinated in his first term. 1900, William McKinley, assassinated in his second term. 1920, Warren Harding, heart attack in his first term. 1940, Franklin D. Roosevelt had a stroke in his fourth term. 1960, JFK famously assassinated in his first term. 1980, Ronald Reagan survived an assassination attempt. He was shot, but he didn't die. And 2000, George W. Bush, a live grenade was thrown at him, but it didn't explode. So he survived an assassination attempt as well. So there you go. So how'd you go in that round? 1 point, says Kat. Woo! Okay, that's pretty good. Backos says, hey, 2020 is divisible by 20. 2 that round from Pierre. 3 points from Simone. Isn't there a movie about the number 20, 21? There is a movie about 21, but I think it's about blackjack. 4 in total, says Jared. Hopefully that's not for the whole evening. 5, says Matt. 5 out of 10, not too bad. Number 23, Jim Carrey. Okay, 5. Okay, cool. All right. Well, maybe if you're stuck in a tiebreaker situation, we'll do a Who Am I Now, or you can just do it for fun. Once again, if you've enjoyed this, if you came in a bit late, you didn't see round 1 or round 2 or whatever, just stick around. This URL will become a normal YouTube video. You can just watch it and pretend it's live later. There are 4 or 5 other previous nights available on the YouTube channel. You'll have a look on the Facebook page for them. If you want to be informed about events in future, go to the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, like the page, and then you'll find out about them. But they're generally Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Sydney time. Okay, so let's have a Who Am I? So the way this works, I'm going to read out clues about a person. If you think you know the answer as I go along at any point, you can yell out the answer in your bedroom or win the point from your friend or whatever. But if you're going to get one shot, so if you get it wrong, you don't win. You don't win. So you want to beat the other person, but you want to make sure you have the correct answer. Otherwise, if you're just playing by yourself, just play along, see how you go. All right, who am I? I was born in Shoreham, Kent, England. I am the daughter of a Welsh antiques dealer, set designer, and costumier, and my father was a road manager and sound engineer who worked with Pink Floyd and who can be heard and seen on several of their albums. Following my parents' divorce and my father's death, we moved around Wales and England, and finally, when I was 14, we moved to Sydney, Australia. I failed to graduate from high school, and I had various jobs while attempting to become a model. But after several failed auditions, I got a job, excuse me, as a fashion editor for Follow Me magazine. A chance invitation to a drama workshop prompted me to quit my job and seek success as an actress, landing several advertisement roles and finally a role in the 1986 drama film For Love Alone. I have since appeared in the miniseries Brides of Christ. I've had a recurring role on Home and Away. My first leading role was in the film Gross Misconduct, and I've since appeared in Tank Girl, Sleepwalkers, Dangerous Beauty, and others. But my breakthrough was the lead in David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. I have since appeared in many films, including 21 Grams, Ned Kelly, King Kong, The Impossible, Birdman, and the TV series Twin Peaks, Gypsy, and Sleepwalkers. I have been nominated for and won several major awards. With the first name Naomi, I am Naomi Watts. Okay, well done if you got that. That's hard, I had to Google it. Okay. Yes, Peter got the answer right. Simone got the answer right, very good. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Once again, it's taken about an hour, which is pretty good. It's not too long. We'll basically be here same time next week. Didn't have a clue, says Matt. Okay, so yeah, I hope the COVID thing's not getting you down too much. Sounds like they might be lifting restrictions and things in the coming weeks if it all goes well. So anyway, we'll see how we go. Yeah, no worries. Glad you all had fun. See you next week. Tune into the Facebook page, Virtual Aussie Pub Quiz, if you want more. Bye. Where's my button? Here it is. All right. See you guys. Thanks, James. I started drinking just for this. Well, what greater praise can there be? All right. See you guys. Bye.